Level up, level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough.
I see. I am beyond excited and happy that last week, at least Hugger was here because I was missing, and we had HR in the building, and she kept the boys. Well, she had Bordy too. They kind of kept the
Yeah,
boys low key, kept everything. Then the house didn't burn down while I was gone, so I'm super
till the
excited.
end.
This week I got rid of Baron. He has a, foot fetish convention he had to get to. Something about geriatric toes, and he couldn't miss it. And so we made sure he took time to go out and do that today. Shout out to Baron, man. Hope he doesn't write an article on the site about it. And I hope he has a heck of a time. But with all that said, listen, we have a lot to talk about tonight. We have an amazing guest who I'm going to get to. But first, with the introductions, as always, the woman that's running the show who I can't do level one gaming without, my right hand, man, the for hugger with the hardest of R's. What's going on, sis?
What's going on, y'all? I'm glad to be back here, talk some video games, and we got family, we got new family, but I mean, new family can go and get himself a drink out the fridge at this point because we talked about some things before the show. So let's dive into it. Let's rehash some old topics, Grandpa. Let's just get into it.
Listen, next up, who shout out to people if you're on TikTok and you're watching this from a clip from TikTok, man. Keith, they're loving you on our TikTok. That's why I hit you up and I said, hey man, why is the Outer Haven not on TikTok? Because our fans on TikTok are loving you and your takes over there. Shout out to Keith from the OuterHaven.net. What's going on, brother?
Man, what's going on? Honestly, I wear too many hats as it is, and I can't wear another. I just cannot wear another. You got dad, you got husband, you got editor in chief, you got reviewer, you got news guy, you got video editor, you got podcast editor, PR communications guy. I can't do any more. I would love to be on TikTok. Maybe we'll go find somebody to work with us to do TikTok. Maybe.
And listen, before we keep going to the introductions, because I wasn't here last week and I said it before the show, I want to give a big shout out to the Outer Haven, right? Because I love indie sites like ours who are doing their thing. And for you to be on the accolade traders for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is huge. It's a big stepping stone. It's a big for your company and other indie websites as well. Bro,
Yes.
shout out to you and your team, bro, because that's big.
That is big. And like you said, I want to also give a shout to every indie website out there, every independent website out there, because every one of you guys that are on that trailer or the image deserves to be on there. People need to understand that there's a lot of people out there doing their thing, hustling, trying to make it big, and there's so much room out there. We don't need people gatekeeping. I won't go into that, obviously, because we got more things to talk about, but you guys know what I mean when I say it.
Next up, I think he in a shadow realm, but maybe we have him. We'll see. Dallaz. He's not there. So listen, we have an amazing guest with us today. You know, it's funny because as soon as Keith brought up gatekeeping, I looked at the ACG, I had a conversation. I was like, this man is about to go in when he heard the term gatekeeper. But we have an amazing guest with us tonight. Listen, some people are, oh, I go to the red brand. Listen, a lot of us, I don't know what it is about my subsection of people, man. When we thinking about, I want to see a great review for a game. ACG, you are who we go to. Number one, thank you for coming out and rocking with us tonight, man. How have you been, my guy?
I've been good, and I appreciate you being incredibly flexible for the last 4 months for me to get on here. I definitely appreciate it because it almost didn't happen again today. So I definitely appreciate you guys being flexible, and it's good. It's good to be here. And as he said about indies, websites and gatekeeping, yeah, that crap needs to stop. So it is funny we talked about that right before anybody jumped into the chat. So it's very cool you guys are on the accolades trailer, man. That's awesome.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It gives others hope. Like people need to see that, right? I always say because I love the Iron Lords. I love them. I love them back when we used to be. Because a lot of people don't know this. Quick story: the Iron Lords and Love One used to be under the same umbrella, Tick Games Network, right? And I love those guys ever since then. We all branched off to do our own thing. It was all it took together. All these podcasts under the same YouTube channel. It was super dope. So I got love for them because they talk about anti-gatekeeping, right? From COG to Addict. If they can help you, they will. And we need more people like that. Shout out to Adidas Zero with the re-up. Appreciate you being able to continue to be a channel member of LV1 Gaming with the follow super chat as well. It says Xbox, and I want to still Kid Smooth's tagline: Xbox is the best box. I see you still repping that green, brother. Appreciate you. Longhouse Podcast is in the building. That brother is doing his thing and growing the heck out of his channel, man. Much love to you. Drake Williams always rocking with us in the chat. Shout out to you, Drake, man. Appreciate you coming through. And Whiskey Jackson, ACG, let's go. Appreciate ACG for coming through and rocking with ACG. Before we dive into the topics, right? I gotta ask you. You do a lot in the games industry, right? You review a lot of games.
Yeah.
And how do you find time? As big as your channel has grown, as much people look like myself look to you for a review for a game. How do you continuously find time? Because we have teams. We're on a much smaller scale, and we still have teams that it can be difficult. How do you, as a reviewer, especially of your size, and people go to you and they expect a certain quality, how do you find time to continue to keep up the quality of work that you do?
Well, First of all, I want to say if you really look, there's not as many. I mean, there's a lot at sometimes, but there's not as many. It's sort of been blown out of proportion how much I do. But I will say, like Shadow, I've found that I can't do other things like TikTok. Same way with me. I just don't have the energy or time or ability to handle one more social media platform or one more edit. Because if I have to edit another video, I'm gonna go mad. Like there's, especially when you do a YouTube video. But I would say the big thing for me is I have absolutely no work schedule. So I have day schedules, but if I get a game on Saturday, there's a very good chance I'm playing it on Saturday. And currently, that's just the way it goes. I don't know if that'll change, but that's actually one of the big saving graces for me because I'll get a code. It might come in Friday night. And I know a lot of people will be like, I'll play it on Monday. And I'm a child when it comes to games. So there's a very high
Yep.
chance my Discord, who knows me, I'm always in my Discord almost 24 hours a day. Most of them will say, like, there's a good chance if I get a code on Friday, you'll see me on Sunday finally signing out because I'll just stay up 24 hours and play a game. If I like a game, I like a game. I'm not going to sit here and be like, all, business about it and be like, I need to cut myself off. I am a fan of games. And even if that gets somebody mad at me, that is how I review them too, is just as somebody who's like, yeah, I'll critique them and I'll tease them and I'll call something stupid out. But I love to play a game, especially when a game's good. The only real issues I've ever had is when a game isn't good or it's sort of middling. And sometimes you have to get a little
All
energy from
true.
others or a little
Yep.
caffeine to
Yep.
to jump into one of those. But
Yep.
No, I totally respect it because I'm not gonna name names. Not too long ago, I was seeing a guy that had a review, and he was like, "Oh, the game was bad, so I decided not to review it." Like it takes a lot to mutt through even a bad game. Because at the end of the day, I
yeah, and
mean,
bad
you
games
can
are
say
fun to tease, though. I will say
Oh
that.
yeah.
Like when you get a bad game, that can be hilarious to tease. But when you get a middling game, it's not that it's difficult to talk about. It's that sometimes it's just not grabbing you, and so you have to figure out a way to work through that, which can definitely be difficult.
well, listen. Speaking of mid games, right? And I am a fan of mid games. I played the Avengers, and I love the
That was a
Avengers.
mid. That was
Um,
a mid. That was good.
it was
The
mid, but
company
I
that
loved
owned it
it.
was mid.
And that's facts, right? And so most superhero games get a bad rap from the beginning. It's announced because of the Avengers, right? So Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is out. It doesn't have very many people playing on Steam. We don't know the console numbers, but for all intents and purposes, it is considered a mid game for a lot of people, and it kind of fell into the bad section of uh live service games, right? We got on one side we got Helldivers 2, the
Yeah.
other side we got Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And I haven't even played it yet, but I was anticipating it. Now, Warner Brothers games, fresh off the heels of Harry Potter selling, correct me if I'm
Oh,
wrong, like 22,
Crazy
23
numbers.
million copies.
Yeah.
Crazy numbers.
yeah, the game did
Warner
amazing.
Brothers, it did amazing. Regardless of what you feel politically wise, great game, right? Warner Brothers has come out and there's been reports that, hey, we're going to lean more into the live service games versus what we're getting from Harry Potter. So I am wanting to tell you right now that multiplayer mode that people wanted from the Harry Potter game, you're going to get that as a full blown game as a service game pretty soon, right? They're going to try to lean off the success of Hogwarts Legacy while also saying, hey, we need to continue to take money out of you. So I do want to start with, I guess, ACG. I want to kind of get your thoughts on Warner Brothers telling us, hey, we're going to have a full shift from the success we had with Hogwarts Legacy to more closer to what a game that's not so successful with Suicide Squad.
So it wasn't unexpected, especially Griffin Gaming did a gaming investment fund, and they did a survey a couple weeks ago, about 500 developers, and 65% of them were either into or getting into live service games. And one of the reasons, of course, is just the continued income that we see, and also the fact that if you sell a $60 game and you sell 23 million, it doesn't impact as much if that game cost you many, many millions to make in PR. And currently, when you look at PR, there's been old numbers that went around, which was 50-50, meaning 50% of your budget was going to PR, which seems to me to be crazy now in the age of influencers. But I would say it does make sense. When I listened to that, or sorry, read it, it wasn't really that shocking to me. It didn't say that they were going full. It just said they're definitely looking. What I did like about
Mhm.
this, And this is rarely done. I'll just say this. But what I sort of dug was he said, we don't know the future. That guy sat there and was like, listen, I'm talking, it wasn't the typical CEO stuff I expected, which is like, here, we're driving. Instead, he's like, listen, we don't know the future. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. So here are some things we're trying. I actually embrace a little bit of that because gaming has changed since I was a kid to the point to where it's almost unrecognizable. And so we're getting this really unique cycle that's going on. So it wasn't that surprising to me. I will say I want to see a new Harry Potter because I liked Harry Potter. I thought it was fantastic. I love the hell out of that game. And I want to see another one of those. But most of the developers I talk to in bigger houses, even some smaller, they're looking at having they're trying their service games because if one catches on, it may pay for multiple other games. And that's one of the things that Sony, that's why when Sony was talking about 12 service games, it really wasn't that shocking, especially when you get the leak about how much Spider-Man cost. And you start looking like, oh, okay, well, there does have to be, you do have to rob Peter to pay Paul a little bit in some of these situations. So it not that surprising. Unfortunate because we all know that service does adjust the gameplay loop. There's a definite gameplay cycle that's different. But overall, not surprising, unfortunately, I guess is how I would say it.
And you know what sucks? We bring up Sony and the Spider-Man thing. That leak that happened. That Spider-Man online game would have been pretty cool, man. I'm not gonna lie, that would have been freaking amazing. Being able to pick your own Spider Person, have a backstory and abilities, that would have been super dope. Because again, I'm not against live service. I think for the most part, I enjoy live service games almost as much as I enjoy single player games. And
I
as I've
still
gotten
play
older,
Division too, and that's live service.
really.
Oh yeah, we play Division 2 almost nightly in our Discord, so it's like I'll definitely play those games. It's just not what I want to always experience. Just like I don't always want to play a first-person shooter. To me, it's its own thing. It feels its own way, and a first-person shooter that's a single-player game is going to feel different than a multiplayer first-person shooter, and a live service game will feel different than free-to-play. I embrace all games, no matter what, and that's why I do the value rating versus one. Well, there's other reasons, but why I say buy because there's money that you're putting out or you're not putting out, but what you're getting your value from it. I think I can get value from pretty much any kind of game. I just don't want to see them take over to where they're the majority and where always those decisions are based around live service. That's going to be pretty damn rough for a lot of us. And it won't be. A lot of devs I talk to are like, we're not doing live service. Everybody thinks everybody's going. It's like, it's not everybody.
100%. Shout out to Legendary Yobi with the 8-month re-upset. I'm saying though, I love level 1 game of Legendary Dreams, Legendary Vibes. Congrats, y'all just leveled up to Legendary status. Let's go. Shout out to Yobi, man. One of the great guys in the community. Always showing love, always showing support. Shout out to you, Yobi. Bordy, welcome to the podcast, Bordy.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Sorry to
welcome.
slid on in here.
Unlike Keith, Bordy is on TikTok, and TikTok is showing so much love to Bordy as well from the last week's podcast. You guys had a fantastic show last week. The 1 week I wasn't there, you guys did great. So, Bordy, I'm gonna swing to you since you're freshly onto the show. Warner Brothers Games is they're saying that hey, we're gonna lean more or lean a little bit on these live service games, and a lot of gamers, a lot of people in the community are taking it at face value, and and a lot of people are thinking, hey, we're gonna lose our single player games from them. We want more single player games. We want the Batman Arkham Knights. We want the Harry Potter games. We want less Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Your thoughts on the shift? Because like ACG said, even Sony said, hey, we're gonna try to do more live service games. Now they may be doing less, but they do have a hit on their hands. We're gonna talk about it in a little bit. But your thoughts on live service games being more of the move from Warner Brothers?
Yeah, I talked about like one of the effects of the Sony layoffs was the Twisted Metal live service game that they had in the upcoming docket, that being cut, right? And being one of the fatalities, I guess, for better word to say, of the future of live service games for that branch, right? For me though, I approach it a lot more cynically because we've seen the recent moves from Warner Brothers as of late. We've seen them, hey, we're going to produce this movie. Everything's going to be fine. Actually, we're going to cut the movie for taxes, right?
That should be illegal.
They are. The FCC is looking at them.
Right?
The FCC is investigating them now because they shut down another Scooby-Doo movie. They filmed it and then put it in their vault. So the FCC is looking into them.
It's ridiculous.
I'm so glad because it's become a theme for them. Everything that they, the Midas touch, everything you touch turns to gold. Everything they touch turns to ash because Rooster Teeth, after 21 years, they're ended up getting the cut as well, right? After Warner
Oh,
Brothers
yeah.
acquired them, slowly trickled away until what are they as a company anymore, right? Um, uh, there is just a trend in Warner Brothers as far as like investing a whole bunch of things into the or appearing like you're going to invest in things, but in actuality, you don't come through in actual content and upcomings, right? And that's one of the core products and points of interest that you need to have when you have a live service game. We've seen the death of Overwatch come despite the fact that they have a bumping community because they did not continuously invest in it. Um, that's one of the reasons why Helldivers, we're going to talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit later. Like, they're starting to already infuse things and tweak things into the game to make sure it has that longevity. I do not trust Warner Brothers to do that because they seem to have this new tech boy CEO mindset where, hey, this is a thing that's a trend. It looks good. Hey, Fortnite has all this money as you said, like all you need is just one hit and you're good. But in order to get that hit, you actually have to invest in it and actually have to procure it over time. As I said last week, Fortnite changed 3 different times in order to make sure that they sustained the base that they had. I do not trust Warner Brothers to have that creative mindset or to invest and care enough about it long term, even if they do have a great like foundation of a good live service game, for them to actually take it anywhere, as we've seen with Suicide Squad, right? You talk about Justice League all the time, fam. Like multiverses is another thing that they have and that they're trying to
boy.
Does that game still
change up.
exist? What
It's
happened to
coming back.
Multiverse?
It's coming
They're
It's
back.
coming back. Yeah.
It's coming back.
So is Gigantic, by the way. Such a weird.
Oh,
yeah.
We
hell
live in a
yeah.
weird world, man. We live in a weird world.
I get it.
Yeah,
Goddamn,
but
Brody. You spitting bars,
yeah,
man.
yeah, no, but like you can, and multiverses is it's a thing that you can like look up as a prime example where they had all these different IPs. You compared it to the Nicktoons things that they're gonna have. It looked like they had a good foundation, and people were so hyped about it. But as soon as it came to market, they didn't do shit with it. Like we had months and months and months without any content, and because of that, it didn't end up being anything. So I don't trust Warner Brothers. We can see what will happen if they infuse more live service, but live service to me just like I expect it to be a pump and dump, and I expect companies to not really do anything with it. If Halo couldn't get any name branding and long-term branding off of their name alone, I don't expect Warner Brothers to do it out of thin air. So
Yeah.
Now, Bordy, do you think part of the issues with of course, live service, but when you think about live service and Suicide Squad for the Justice League, is it more of a superhero fatigue being mixed in it? Maybe it's why it wasn't perceived as much.
oh, absolutely. And I think that's part of the reason why the CEOs were like, oh man, I know what you guys like. We've seen Marvel superheroes, right? That's what your kid likes. Hello, fellow kids with your guitars and your action. Hey, you're going to love superheroes, right? And everybody's like, what the hell am I going to do with this? Like, no, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Bring something new to the table. CEOs, their mentality is never an infusion of creativity. It's always what happened previously. Let me try to harp on that. And you cannot sustain a live service game, in my opinion, if you have that mentality.
Keith, you bearish or bullish on WB and their ability to do live service games?
I don't trust them at all. I don't trust them. They've done way too many shady things. There's no reason to trust them. I like the idea of developers bringing live service games to the gamers if they can do it properly. And we've seen so many different games come out where they're like, hey, they're doing a live service game, they're doing a live service game, let's do one as well. I mean, like a great example is Air Syndicate. I love their single player games. They came out with Wayfinder, and I think they paused it because they're trying to find a publisher. The game just wasn't doing well. Every person I talked to about Wayfinder is like, why am I playing this game? This game is not worth playing. It's not fun. But at the same time, you get other games like, I know people are going to crucify me for this, Destiny. Destiny had a very up and down, but it has a great audience. It has a great fan base. People like playing Destiny. And before Activision got its hands on to where it was supposed to be just one giant live service game, and then it turned Division because another game I love. It turned to Destiny 1, then Destiny 2, and then it's just Destiny. So Destiny will continue until we'll see what happens.
Remember, Destiny was $500 million for 5 games. That's what the original deal was. There's supposed to be 5 Destiny games that came out of the whole deal with them.
And you know the developers
what?
didn't want that. They didn't want that.
Yeah. Destiny was
That,
supposed to
that's
be a
what I
rated
missed.
series.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they wanted one ever evolving world. And getting back to that, that's what I want from a live service game. I want it to be that where I play this game for months and then I leave for a couple of months and come back and it's like, all this stuff has changed. Everything has changed. There's brand new this. There's a brand new city. That city got destroyed. There are new people in charge. I want something that evolves just like my life.
Oh,
You know,
you
if
mean Warframe?
Warframe is amazing, isn't it?
Who talks?
Warframe.
Do people still play? I'm not trying to be
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Do people still play Warframe because that's a game I
Absolutely.
never hear
Oh,
about
yeah.
anymore.
Oh, no,
Absolutely. It's because its
Warframe
community
is-
is there already.
Yes, Warframe is an amazing game. The community is amazing. The developers are amazing. If you have not gone to one of the conventions or watched the conventions, they are very passionate about that game. They're actually going to be at PAX East. They're going to be at PAX East as well. I
should
just
meet
got
them,
an
Finn.
email about them being at PAX East, so I'm definitely going to check out that. So yeah, Warframe is big. But going back to WB, I just don't trust them as a company. I saw what he said, and he was like, let me go back to his actual words because I was reading it and I was like, I don't really trust you 100% on that.
I had it up at some point. I could have
Had the
filled that
aura
in, but
of who you lying.
why you find that? Hugs, I'm gonna switch over to you because you're normally the rational thoughts on things like that.
I don't have to have
the
exact quote, but the gist of it is I understand where he's coming from. I understand why people may think that live service games are the end all be all, but they're not. In this instance, they're looking at the money. He literally states, we're looking at the money. We're looking at the future and how it can benefit us. And I understand that. We'll go back to Spider-Man 2. $300 million for the game, and they have not recouped the entire cost of that? No.
It should also
That's
be
what I
pointed
wonder.
out that Alan Wake also hasn't recouped.
None of them are going to recoup that money.
And that one is not an extremely expensive game, and they actually released it on Epic Digital only to allow for more people to purchase it. And Remedy's a little weird in that sense, but yeah, a lot of these companies are not recouping. It's gonna.
Let me ask you real quick, ACG. Do you think that they releasing it just on Epic Games was a bad move?
No. I think it's a distasteful move for us because we want a game wherever, everywhere, I guess. But for them, absolutely not. I think whatever financial response they got, and the couple people I've talked to at Remedy have made it quite clear that game would not be anywhere near what we're seeing without whatever influx of cash they got.
So
and
Epic
that
gave them some help.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that is 100% for sure. They've been pretty clear. And I love Remedy, but Remedy I would never trust with a single dollar. They do have issues financially, sort of balancing. They've always had issues financially. I don't know, maybe they're bigger, their eyes are bigger than their stomach kind of thing at Thanksgiving dinner. But whatever happens with them, they do have troubles at times. And so to me, that was smart for them. It was just not what most people want. Most people want a title everywhere. And I think that that's fair for a gamer to want that. But I also think it's fair for a developer to want to get a title that looks a certain way out and delivers a certain thing. And I don't know if we'd see dance numbers or whatever, all this weird stuff we saw. I wouldn't want that cut, to be honest, because when I look at that game, I'm like, that game is just eclectic enough to not only be a horror game, but to be a thing. And I think that that's probably from that influx where there's a little bit of creativity where restrictions go away. And there might have been some of that in Alan Wake 2. And I celebrate that. I think that's awesome for them.
Keith, I got the quote for you. He said, rather than just launching a one-and-done console game, how do we develop a game around, for example, Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter that is a live service where people can live and work, build and play in a world on an ongoing basis? So that the meme of one and done, people making fun of that. It's in the quote. Rather than just launching a one and done game, which I love my one and done games.
Well, see, the thing with that is we're not in the world, we're not in the age where they release a game, they recoup their money, and everything is good to go. We're beyond that anymore. When we have AAA games that are costing as much as twice as, 3 times as a blockbuster movie, they're looking at ways to recoup their money. A one and done game just doesn't exist anymore. Sadly, unless you're an indie developer or you're a company, a studio that has very good management skills and knows exactly how much they need to spend on a game to recoup their money. If you're not one of them, which I don't trust WB to be, it's never going to happen. That reads to me, we don't want to make a game that's only going to sell once. We want a game that's going to continue to bring in an influx of money. And there's nothing wrong with that. They are a company, they're a business. But is this the business that you trust to do that?
I know this may technically be a bad example. But you think about a single player game. Let's look at God of War Ragnarok, right? It's a single player game. Technically, it's a one and done. But then they come up with a DLC, even though it was free, and it was a roguelike. Because it's designed to keep you to keep coming back over and over and over and over again, right? We are probably looking in a world to where single player games are not really one and dones anymore. Like, I play it, I got the full story, and I move on. Like, no, they want to get you to come back, whether it's going to be story expansion, whether it's going to be some type of DLC. They're gonna get you to come back. And it's the simple fact that the gaming industry is in a weird spot because most games just in itself isn't profitable. We talk about, hey, they're selling this PS5 or this Xbox Series X, they can sell it and they're gonna sell it at a loss. Well, a lot of times they're selling games at a loss. Like, are they really making the money back versus what they put in on it? That's a bad sign.
This is why we're going to see more moves like Remedy and IO, like relying on the fact, like having Epic there. So they already have a baseline of things going. They go through companies that already give them a cut of profits. So you already have something in hand. Subscription services, right? That's why we're seeing that be the future, because you have that money in hand and you don't have to rely on projected SKUs, right, being sold and everything like that. That's why we're hardly going to see any one and done actually stories. We're going to see sequels on sequels on sequels or universes, right? Because again, you already have that buy-in or assumed buy-in base that will be there for you to rely on. And that's just the means of capital. Hey, I'd rather have this money in hand rather than something that's unknown in the future. And because of that, that stifles creativity, and the future's in indies is what I see when it comes to actual infusion of that.
I'm gonna throw the outlier here, unless you're Nintendo.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
God, man, freaking us in the hooks. But before we bury this bone, your thoughts on Warner Brothers? Worthington?
No pause. Keep going.
We don't pause. We
They're
move
singing
straight
in the
forward.
color.
Warner Brothers and live service game.
I think we are so caught up in stuff that we kind of don't realize that gaming is so inflated right now. $7 billion for Microsoft to buy Activision Blizzard. Really? Spirit tried to sell all their airplanes, which get 70 billion get us from one.
I was like, 7, man, that's
other.
cheap.
More money I got in my bank account.
Spirit, which is an aircraft company, they had their
trash
before they filed for bankruptcy, though, with planes that, if we know how Spirit Air, they were offering $25 flights to Italy during the middle of COVID. Like, we know what they did. But their valuation was
Spirit.
$3.8 billion before they, with planes, liquids, assets, everything. And gaming kind of outpaced that. This is not sustainable. The biggest game we had at one time was Grand Theft Auto 5 at almost $300 million. Right now, I'm looking at a list. Genshin Impact takes that with $700 million that we know of.
Yeah.
Star Citizen is at $630 million. Is this sustainable? The next upside,
and that game's not even done. That game's not even done.
Million. Not even done. We don't
Still
know
in development.
Star Citizen.
We'll never see it.
Like, these
We'll
be on
down.
the PlayStation 8000, and like we're still in development.
What it is, we're staring down $100 games, and we're staring it down.
I'm saying that for you, Jesus. Stop it.
We can't though. Here's the thing: I love gaming, but if I got to pick between eggs and a video game, I love gaming. I'm gonna eat myself. Nope. Pause. I'm gonna eat before I play games myself.
All right.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Go on.
That's PG-13. It's
talented,
fine.
Man.
Wait, Alex.
I mean, listen, you gotta do what you gotta
something
do.
dirty.
What?
Man,
Alex
I
might
just saw
pop in
now.
no
now.
talented, no
Somewhere.
hugger.
Just gaming is so unsustainable. I love it, but it is so unsustainable compared to the rest of the world that I'm just like, it's got to pop at some point. And this live service is not a new thing because back in the day, you guys are all old. Love you guys. But MMOs were supposed to be the
Wow.
new thing. But remember, get
Damn.
ESO, MMO. Sleeping Dogs was supposed to get a MMO. There was MOBAs for DC games. I think Marvel might have had a MOBA at 1.2. There
Marvel
was an MMO.
Omega.
Yep.
Ah,
There was
there
an
you go.
MMO, City of Heroes,
City Hero.
where you could be
Yeah.
any superhero you wanted to be. Like these things aren't
DC Comics
real.
had one too.
Exactly.
DC Universe is still out. I played it
Is
yesterday.
it? Wow.
Yeah, yeah, dude, it's on everything, by the way.
It's still
Oh, yeah.
playable. Like
Yeah.
the servers
It's
are
still
up?
playable. It's yeah. They add new content for every movie, every episode of a TV show. They usually add
Really?
into the game.
It's
They're
not
fully
even
I think I'm
supported.
gonna have to
Yeah.
download that.
It'll be supported. It's
Dang. I didn't know people still played that. I thought that shut down. with the
Now we
PS4.
play it as a group. I agree with all this kind of stuff, especially when you look at unsustainability. But I do think that, like everybody was saying, you do have MMOs, you have DLCs, you have horse armor that started it all. But really, there's
Yeah.
all these different ways to deliver games. I think the big ones are unsustainable at the high number across multiple companies. I do think we'll still see the occasional big one because they want a big
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Somebody does want to see that success. But when you look at it, yeah. I mean, when you look at Spider-Man, to hear Sony want to pull money from Spider-Man. So, by the way, that's like asking Michael Jordan to take a pay cut. That is a really weird conversation to have. That would be like your best star person and being like, oh, by the way, can you perform identically and bigger technically than you ever have? But we want to remove some of your money. That it was a really weird sort of behind the scenes we saw in that particular title.
Yeah.
Dallas man, you got the last word.
The last bone
Oh
to bury.
man. I was trying not to. I was trying to see if I could. Man. I don't even know where to put it because everybody just said everything that you could possibly say, especially Hugger.
The last word ain't
Like,
always easy. Is it?
Listen, sometimes I have to mute myself because, like, you ever seen, like, imagine a barrel falling down the stairs. That's what it sounds like as I fall laughing at y'all sometimes. I think that was like a ACG worthy analogy too. Like, of all. And those were my last words. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week trying to
All right. Well, listen, we're going to make a slight shift here, right? Because we're in the world of live service games, and I think one of the bigger live service games, at least up and coming, is Helldivers 2. A lot of people did not expect for this game to be as great as it is. I know people who played Helldivers 1 didn't expect Helldivers 2 to be this much fun, right?
I did not.
Even to the point where people are going back to Helldivers 1 to finish the war because it's just about completely liberated. So people are going back to the first game to finish the war, which I think is absolutely amazing, right? But Helldivers 2, there's a big conversation. Again, shout out to you, TikTok, because y'all been showing us crazy love lately, right? There's a big conversation on TikTok, meta gamers versus everyone else. As you know, every game has a meta, right? People are searching TikTok and they're searching YouTube and their own articles, trying to figure out what's the best build. How can I be the best? How can I look like my favorite streamer? How can I just be the best possible version of me in this particular game? But there's a conversation going on TikTok, going back and forth because people who play the meta are booting out people who don't play the meta. Helldivers kind of took that conversation and said, you know what? By the way, we're going to
somebody choose me, please. So I don't stratagem, little things to make you feel like a part of a group there. That's a little bit more than we see in other games. That kind of stuff works really well. It gets people invested in the meta even more and in the fiction even more, want to do better. The DM idea was a good idea, though I've now heard a lot of complaints about particular times a day that's called slow losing. I don't know if you've heard this term, but basically where if you play at a certain time, you sort of know that you can't do well enough to basically like do really as a universe to do well, because that's not really the way their curve is going. And there's certain times where you just slowly lose or you try to stop from losing too much territory. So they've got some work to do there. But I love the idea. I think it's awesome. I didn't really love the game. I didn't dislike it, but I found the cycle really repetitive really quickly. And so I also had the tech issues. I'll just be straight up. I had every tech issue you can imagine on that game, and it really caused me to step away. So I haven't, I can't really speak artfully on much more than that because I was getting crashes on the PS5 even. I returned the first version, jumped back in, still had issues, and was like, okay. But everybody I've talked to has really enjoyed it. I think it's awesome that it's doing well, and they're smart because they've taken, by the way, every lesson learned from EVE Online. And EVE Online took a long time to do this, and they let the players do it for a long time. Then they started like, what exactly can we do and Helldivers jumped in earlier. And I think that that's the sign of something that is truly awesome when people are looking at a, trailer stolen from a website somewhere, see mechs and freak out. That's the kind of excitement you want because the excitement prior is what we're all accustomed to. It's one of the reasons why I'm not a huge early access fan because the excitement has 2 bumps. And those bumps are very difficult to track. After a while, I'm like, what game? Which is this out yet? Has this been out? Helldivers has hit the primary bump and then continued it to the point to where the mechs and people seeing, the vehicles are just like, oh my God, I can't wait to jump in. That's a sign of a game that's as long as they don't screw it up too much and they piece out a little gameplay loop changes here and there, they're going to be doing really well for a long time. It feels like. I mean, it really does feel like something we'll be talking about in a couple of years. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
I think the likability is key here as well. If you guys remember, the Power World developers were coming out and people were trying to poo things, and it was like, hey man, people say, oh, your game is dead, and it was like, well, games, people have other stuff to do. There's other games to play.
Yeah.
And the CEO of Arrowhead, there was a tweet that went out, and the guy was like, Halo, then it was the Arrow, then it was Helldivers saying, hey, Helldivers is better than Halo. And the CEO was like, why are you comparing? I think the likability is just as important because people want to like people. They naturally. I know people get a lot of crap. People want to like people, and they want to like people who are non-toxic. And the CEO of Arrowhead, it seems like a pretty cool guy. You sit up there because he could have easily liked it or ignored it or taken a pot shot. But he's like, why are we comparing this game to Halo? Both games are freaking awesome, except that and move on. I think the likability is going to play a huge part. That's the same thing with Power World, right? There are so many less people playing Power World now, but when the developers say, hey, go play Helldivers 2, is fine. We're a small team. We're going to get you the content. Come back when the content is here. I think that's something we don't really see a lot. But Keith, I want to switch over to you and your thought about this patch. And one thing that is in here, ACG, I don't know if you plan on going back or not, but one thing in here, at least it's in the patch notes, that they have fixed a lot of the crashes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, for sure.
All right. Well, first I want to say I have 70 hours in this game. I really love this game.
70?
70. I stayed away for a while. I wanted to wait to see what would happen first. I played a lot of the original Helldivers. And then when they were like, Helldivers 2 is going to be this third person perspective, I'm like, I don't know about this. And then I started playing like, all right, you're right. I was completely wrong. This is a great design change. In terms of meta, I've played more than enough of MMOs to tell you that I hate metas. I played a crap ton of World of Warcraft, and I hated the fact that I would go into raids, and they were like, you must do this, you must have this, you must have this, you must. I'm like, no, I want to play the way I want to play. Well, then you can't be in this raid. I know how many guilds I've quit. I don't like metas just because it takes the fun of the game. Don't tell me I need to come in with a specific equipment. Let me come in with what I want to play with. If I'm not contributing to my team, different story. We're not at the point now where we have raids in this game. Hopefully they do come. But we're not at this point where we're doing this. So unless you're doing something incredibly stupid, there's no reason to force somebody to bring a certain weapon kit or whatnot to the game. We don't need it. As far as people saying that Arrowhead is removing the meta, no, they're doing basic balancing. We see balancing in every game. Fighting games like this. One moment Ryu is the top dog, next second Ryu is bottom tier. Nobody wants to play Ryu other than Daigo. So it is what it is. It's a balancing. That's all it is. It's not going to get rid of meta. It's just a balancing.
Yeah.
And it'll never go away, if you ask me.
It'll never go away.
Least, there'll always be those either really competitive people, or there'll always be those people who just want to really experience the game in their way. And sometimes that involves not having players that drag behind. Sometimes that involves not having to carry somebody or whatever.
Do you know what you do? Do a private game. don't be public.
Yep.
Yeah, gaming was so much more fun when we didn't just curtail everything just the competitive people. As someone who works in esports, like there needs to be fun. Like make gaming fun again, dang it. I don't want to be concerned about this loadout goes against this other loadout and it's scientifically near. In actuality, this can zone out. Like no, let's just have fun.
Don't
Like,
get me wrong
I
though.
like how Morty says, I work at esports like she's not an amazing shoutcaster. Like, come on, get
oh,
yourself
yeah.
together,
Oh,
boy.
yeah.
Well, if you won't acknowledge that you're a great host, she's not gonna acknowledge your shit. So
And I'm not saying that min and maxing is a bad thing because in some games it's great. I play a lot of Souls like I will min and max. I need to know I need to know which weapon is the best for me to get through this situation at the best time. I need to know which gear is going to help me get through this game.
And who was it that said somebody said given the opportunity, players are optimized the fun right out of a game. That's
Dang.
Overwatch
super
2.
true. That's super true.
Yes, literally.
But sometimes that optimization kind of just it feels good to be at the cutting edge, so to speak, of a game.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels good to be like, and sometimes those that like it gives you something to chase, especially once that meta changes and now you got to get the new weapon or the new whatever to be able to keep up. Sometimes it gives you something like to chase, and to some people that feels like dangling a carrot, but to others it's more like just providing new ways to have fun. That ain't most of us, but but
Well,
just
I don't have a problem with that though. That's fine. But when a great example going back to Warcraft, you must have this epic. Okay, well, I don't play the game enough to get this epic. Are you trying to tell me that I can't come to this raid because I don't have it? Or what exactly are you doing? It's okay to do that, but it's not the end all be all.
It's a balance.
And that's fine for some people. Not everybody has hundreds of hours a week to play a game. I'm 47 years old now. I have 2 kids. I have a wife. I can't sit there and play World of Warcraft like I used to, which is not very healthy, by the way. 10 hours a day just sitting there playing the game. If I could go back in time, I would smack my younger self, say, don't ever do this again. That was just dumb.
I can't
We
help
just
but picture like
we can't do that.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking, Hugger?
I hear that, but then also I heard ACG pulling an all-nighter to finish the game. ACG was like,
I mean, I
watch.
wake up at 3:30 to work out every day religiously. So it's like I'm trying to make sure my heart doesn't explode from the Funyuns. But yeah, I think it makes sense to look back on some of your longtime WoW stuff. But the separation that we're also seeing is because gaming is bigger and we're getting people in who don't have the experiences that maybe we carry in. Remember, gaming is one of the only industries in the world, if not the only one, that you can passively not experience until you're able to get your first console. Meaning you can hear music when you walk around. You hear it on the radio, you hear it with your friends. You can watch a movie because it's randomly there. Even school will have you watch a movie or read a book. Gaming, I have people in my Discord who at the age of 15 played their first game ever. And so somebody like me, I carry my book of woes like a dwarf, and I go into everything like war. I'm like, dude, this happened and this happened, and the guy's looking at me going like, dude, I have no clue what you're even talking about. Like I don't even know the vernacular of meta. So it sucks, but I think it also does. I mean, just by you guys talking, I think it indicates that there's many of us who don't like the meta. It's our job in a weird way to like make sure that some people understand that you don't have to get involved with that if you don't want to. And I think what's great about gaming right now is a lot of the people who grew up my age are making the games. And internally, when I talk to them, the first thing they talk about is how to embrace a new person, brand new, and then also embrace that longevity to where if somebody does want a mini-max, because I absolutely love mini-maxing games. But depending on the game, I think mini-maxing, like when he said Dark Souls, I got that because it is a single-player game despite invasions. It's still him against the world, where this is you against the world, but it's almost, it's almost always a group. And so I guess what I'm saying is I understand the desire for people to want a mini-max. I don't like it as much, and their communication skills are lacking. Instead of saying you can't be in this raid, maybe you say, have you ever got this weapon? Do you even know how to? I can show you. That takes more time than somebody who wants to hit quick game, right? They don't want to explain stuff. And that's our job, I guess, to figure out a way to sort of make sure everybody can enjoy it. And then developers' jobs. I would love that game to have a single player mode, for instance. Something with bots so somebody can jump in and learn. Because a lot of people I know won't play Helldivers because they're too nervous about going in. And that sucks. because those are purchasers. Those are possible purchasers. So I don't know where to go from there.
That's deep.
No, that makes sense because I won't play it. I won't play it without people that I know. Like I won't want to play random because the pressure to do certain things and be alive when you're surrounded by bugs. You know,
or stream a game and have people watch you. That's hard enough as it is. Yeah.
That's that.
So I have to play with
that
people.
Comes with sometimes having people who are like only League of Legends is the same thing where like luckily there is that bot mode because if not like if you go the wrong way in lane, I'm sorry, you're gonna get flamed.
And what's a lane? I mean, a lot of people are like, what's a damn lane? I had to have people in my Discord explain what a lane was. I'm like, you mean the path? Oh no, that's a lane. I'm like, no, it's a path, man. Like why are we changing the words? That's what so
ganking blew my mind. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Word? Where does this come from?
Right. It does sound very dirty.
You do something dirty to somebody. It is dirty, trust me.
It's dirty.
Wait, what is that? Because I don't know what that means. What is that?
It sound bad.
It's like when someone from a jungle or someone from another lane comes out of nowhere and sneak attacks you, and then you end up getting fragged, killed.
Surprise, motherfucker.
That is.
So you could be like, you could be filling out your paperwork for the night, and then your coworker comes and punches you inside the head. That's exactly what it is. Like out of nowhere.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a world star fight. Like that's what it is.
Y'all teaching old man new tricks. I never heard of that. I absolutely never heard of it.
And it sounds too not safe for work.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, you don't want to ask your boss what ganking is because you never quite know if you still have a job. You're like,
They'll confuse it with tuning.
From the outside.
What are you watching at work on you?
I'm watching a ganking video. Excuse me.
Oh God.
Excuse me?
Go into your pre-meeting and you're like, hey, anybody else watch that ganking video? People are like,
whoa.
Yep.
Gots to go.
Yep.
2 girls, 1 gank.
Wow. Surprised you never heard of a gank before. I'm just wow.
The casting gank couch.
Before.
Jesus.
This is the very first time.
It sounds like, I'm not gonna lie, gank sound like a slur.
It does. It does. It really does.
Get out of here, you gank.
Honestly, what happens to you if you're the one receiving it at the end? It kind of does feel like that. You're like,
I've been hate crime. I've been hate crime.
Yeah, that's over there. You're gonna get us canceled by calling out the gangs, Dallas. Good grief. Good grief. Listen, I do want to make a quick swing today because we had 2 showcases today. I thought were fantastic. One, shout out to Dez, right? She is a member of Level 1 Gaming family. We love everything Dez do because she is freaking amazing. She had her showcase today, Dames for Games. They showed out some amazing games, more towards the cozy gamer lifestyle, which we had another person that was at Level 1 who does amazing things for her personal channel as well, and Bubbles. But Dames for Games today, and also the Xbox partner preview was today, and they showed off what some titles I think was super dope. And I want to go around the panel. If you guys can say, if you watched the preview today, anything that caught your eye? Because for me, the altars looks super dope. Like the fact that you have a character and you have to fill out the world with other characters that's just him with different life choices. I think about it all the time. Like, what if I didn't have Chipotle today? Will I be having tummy issues? Would I be a different person because, I get to walk, not crawl because my stomach is messed up, right? Is there anything from the showcase today that you guys thought was dope, and what was it?
yeah.
Oh, don't get stuck on the Chipotle.
Girl, I was stuck on the Chipotle.
You act like Chipotle doesn't mess your stomach up. If you listen,
I don't know. We don't got it in Canada.
Chipotle and say it doesn't make you run to the toilet, you're lying.
You're lying.
I've never had that phenomenon. I had it once when I had some spicy, like a spicy wing challenge.
Oh, the spice.
Yeah.
Oh, the spice.
That's Chipotle.
No, not a Chipotle.
It's something else.
Fine. I actually did.
You got a weak stomach, Fame.
Fame, I will tell you. I think it was like 3 PAX East ago. The first one and the second one I went to, all we did was eat Chipotle. Because we were just stuck in location. It was like, well, everything is at the seaboard. I don't want to go way down there. All right, Chipotle it is. It's right there. We ain't doing that no more because we got tired
Everyone
of it.
says it's Taco Bell. No, I can eat Taco Bell like
Teflon. No, I don't touch Taco Bell. No.
Girl,
no Taco Bell. I'll make my own tacos. Thank you.
you got to have the black beans. You switch it out with the black beans, it's fine. You won't end up with anonymous food
Oh,
poisoning.
I do black
That
beans.
like
I love black beans. But today we had the Unknown Awakening, Sleight of Hand. Sleight of Hand looked really dope as well. The Ultras, my personal favorite. We saw Creatures of Ava. Roblox got their Chucky DLC, which I didn't expect that. I'm like, this is kind of creepy, but okay. The Sinking City 2, Final Fantasy 14 is officially released. Hugger Stalker original trilogy is on console now. I know you're a fan of the Stalker series. Monster Jam Showdown, Persona 3 Reloaded expansion pass is on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Well, it's on Game Pass, but Xbox Game Pass Ultimate only. It's not going to be on the regular Game Pass. The first Berserker, Tales of Kinzara. I've always said it wrong. The game looks dope. Tales of Kinzara, Frostpunk 2, which is going to Game Pass, and Kutsugami Path of the Goddess. Did anything stick out to you guys to say, hey, this looked super dope at the showcase?
Unknown 9 Awakening. When I first saw that, I was like, this reminds me of Assassin's Creed. Oh shit, there's a female protagonist. Oh shit, you can take over other people. What is this game? Okay, Unknown Awakening. All right, I gotta play this. I love the fact that Final Fantasy 14 Online is finally coming to Xbox. Finally, crossplay for
but
everybody.
it's still BS though, because you have to have not only have to have Xbox Live, you have to have the subscription service. Well, like on PlayStation, you just need the subscription service of Final Fantasy, but on Xbox, you got to have both, and that's complete bull.
So let me explain something to everybody real quick while you listen to this. So there's a way to do this, not everything, but if you get Ultimate, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can get the Starter Edition. Do not get that. Get the trial. Play the trial. Trials up to level 70, first 3 expansions. You don't need Xbox Live to do that. Play that.
Really?
If you get the Starter Edition, you start your 30-day subscription. Don't do it. It's the same content. Don't do it. Play the trial.
With the hacks right there. That was awesome.
Don't do it.
Don't
do it. Also, downfall. If you've ever played Final Fantasy 14 online, I was about to say Rebirth. If you ever played it online before, you cannot use that account. You must make a new account. If you already have an account, then you can only use the Star Edition. Make a new account. Email addresses are a dime a dozen. Go get a new email address. Make a new account. Done. Play the trial version. Don't buy that Star Edition. Don't do the Star Edition. They're trying to trick you. Don't do it.
Well, I think it's too late for a lot of people.
Probably. Oh, when I saw the Roblox, I was talking to my friend. We were looking at this, and I was like, Chucky. And of course, I'm a big fan of Ready Player One, the movie and the book. And I was like, it's fucking Chucky. Seriously, nobody's watched Ready Player One?
Yeah, I watched. I don't remember anything with Chucky.
What? No, what? He got H gave Chucky to the 2 main characters. And then she was like, get rid of it. She threw it at the soldiers, the Sixers. And it cut to the people in the center, and he was like, "Oh, it's fucking Chucky." What?
Maybe I have to watch it again. My old man brain doesn't allow me. It does not compute. I'm sorry.
Missed it. It's all right, but yeah, that's interesting because it's Roblox, and everybody loves Roblox.
Does Chucky even resonate with the Roblox age?
That was my next question. Like
everything goes in Roblox. Everything goes in Roblox. Everything goes in Roblox. Apparently,
Roblox age people are Chucky's age. Or his size, at least. You know, you get what I'm getting.
It's size.
I knew exactly what you meant. Yeah.
That's why I was
surprised. But ACG, anything? Go ahead, Bordy. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm just surprised that it continuously picks up like brands with like much older, like Chucky and everything like that. Or I can understand if it's things like recently, like Stranger Things or everything like that. But when I'm seeing like Roblox clips of like 5-year-olds having like people shooting up the club and everything, I'm like, whoa, what's going on in this game?
There's a lot more older people playing Roblox than you think.
Yeah, Roblox.
Oh, we know why they're playing Roblox.
We're having complete drive-bys and club shoot-ups and Roblox. There's a lot more adults playing Roblox than you think. So we think about, do kids really care about Chucky? No, it's really a 30-year-old playing Roblox, living out his gangster dreams by shooting up somebody's apartment.
Go play GTA Online then. Go play that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like RP is there.
Girl, I'll be shooting up everybody's house.
GTA.
Don't care.
Come on.
Not till GTA 6 online. No, actually,
Girl, it
Listen,
took a
on
decade to
principle.
get it where it is. You don't think GTA 6 is going to take another decade now that they're also in bed with the original company that does
And they
the server
bombed
stuff?
Red Dead Online. Like,
That's what I'm getting at. I
that's what
will
I'm
not.
really worried about.
I'm taking my
We-
bags
I
and
will
leaving.
That's a
play
long
GTA
discussion.
Online until Red Dead 3 online. If Red Dead 3
Yeah.
online is good, like off principle, I will not touch GTA Online again until then.
Smart. Your computer will thank you and all your personal finances because it is a cesspool nowadays. Oh my God.
Do you mean
It's
it?
bad.
Because gamers are typically fickle and they usually say things they don't mean.
Oh no, you already know. I haven't.
It's
I'm
fine.
How long
boycotting
has it
Call
been
of
since I touched
Duty.
GTA? Because
Highest selling game of the year.
that.
I'm boycotting Hogwarts Legacy.
Dude, you got to
Highest
wonder
selling
how
game.
many people are now just spending into the meta that everybody's got 3 copies. At some point, you have to look at the numbers and go, okay, this shit just doesn't check out. It's just me over there buying 5 copies. Like, how many copies can you sell to this group of people? It makes no sense. For me, though, Alters looks awesome. The idea of like multiple copies of myself is haunting. And so when they were talking about that, I was like, oh, dude, that's pretty cool. And the idea of balancing, I love The Sims. I'm a huge Sims fan. I love to do murderous, terrible things in that game. So like the moment they were talking about multiple copies of yourself, I was like, yeah, I'm down for that. I think Alters looked awesome. It just looked exactly like what I was sort of hoping for. Sleight of Hand, I thought was an XCOM game at first. So what I mean by that is like a Lamplighters League where they were looking to do the XCOM, and then when they started talking about other things, I was like, that's why CGI trailers always bother me because they're just such a misrepresentation of whatever you're getting. But I think that looked cool. First Berserker, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if the FPS was off in that trailer, but it was either really low or they're going with the Spider-Man suit animation with the janky FPS, and that makes me actually a little motion sick. I had an issue when I was playing Spider-Man when I would switch to that suit. I hope that's not the way it looks, but I was just rewatching the trailer right before we started, and it's even in their trailer. So I don't know if that's just an early game.
Design. It looks like it's designed to be that
It
way.
looks like it's solid bad, if that makes sense. Like, you know, where we say locked 30. It's like, what about lock 24? That sounds like what about lock 19? You're like, dude, I don't know if that's
cinematic FPS. That's what we want there.
Yeah, that's what we want right there, man. So, but those were the games. There was a lot of good stuff. And then Stalker was awesome. I mean, as an immersive sim fan, like the idea of doing Stalker, all my Discord right now is playing that. So that's what I'm going to play tonight too. But, well, yeah, some review games, but I'll definitely jump into Stalker. It was a good showing.
That's your jam, right, Hugger? Stalker? You get down with
Stalker.
Right?
I think it's probably one of the best old school shooters, and
Yep.
Chernobylite, which I reviewed a couple years ago, was perfect on that. I'm waiting for Stalker 2, but take your time, babies. I know there's a lot of world stuff going on. Other games, Tales of Kenzara, that is by the Assassin's Creed Origins Bayek voice actor. Am I not mistaken?
Yes.
You are right. Yeah.
That looks good. And then, I mean, I love, this is going to sound bad, but I love a good trashy game. That's why I like to play the WWE games, and that Monster Jam game kind of looks like a good trashy game to just take my mind off of things for a little bit.
Oh, the Monster Truck game, you mean?
Yeah.
That thing looked awesome.
Like
that is right up my alley. Yeah, for sure.
Give me it.
He's like, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. That thing looked exactly like what I want from a stupid arcade game.
I know what I'm getting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I'm ready for it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, you have to have those games where you kind of just turn your brain off and just say, I'm just about to tear some shit up. And that's what that is. You have to have those games. Because, you know, me, as you know, I keep calling myself old because I am. I don't like games with too many puzzles. If I got to think for certain games, I don't care no more.
And your favorite game is Hellblade.
No. Okay. That's what
I love Hellblade.
Yeah, right.
And I wrote an article telling you what pissed me off was those puzzles. Too many puzzles.
That's true. You do.
Those puzzles are hard though.
I'm puzzled by that take.
I love the game. It was my game of the 2017 along with Horizon Zero Dawn. But the problem was it was a small budget. They were trying to give you a big experience with a little amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they capitalized on that. But it was just too many damn puzzles.
Wow. What would you rather do? Push boxes to reach a ledge?
The Sony box and Sony lift, yeah. Give me the Sony push or the Sony. You know what it is. I'm like, I don't know where to go. There's a box. I put the box over here. Get up top. Reach down to get you the Sony boost. I'm cool with that over puzzles. I'm totally okay.
You would have hated it. I think a less timed quest and less ones where it doesn't. It's the tail of the game though. It's the credit of the design. When the voices are screaming at you, it makes me so unsettled that I can't do puzzles half the time. That I'm just like, stop. Please stop yelling at me. I'm trying my best. It's time. Things are on fire. It's dark.
Yeah,
Especially
that
that little
audio in that
puzzle
game
before you
was
get to Hella.
wicked.
It's
That's the one.
fantastic. It's the
I
audio.
got caught in
it's
Hellblade. There was a particular lineup puzzle, and we still joke about it in my Discord because I complained about this in a review, and then later I was raging about it. But one of my players was streaming it once it came live, and he got it in a millisecond. It was, and it took me a long time. I was like, "What the?" And it
I
felt
know
like it
it's
was
when the
pixel
second and third
perfect for
puzzle, yes. Like, it
yes,
didn't
and
work
it
for
felt
me
like
either.
it didn't work, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then I don't know if you guys remember, Jim Sterling had a game killing bug
Yes.
and released a review where he rightfully so. If the game is
Mhm.
unfinishable, that's
course.
for sure what he should say. But you're not the only one to think that Hellblade tried a lot, and some places it was a bit bumpy. I think there were definite some bumps in that, but the overall arcing package was just, man, that thing was good.
It was good. I'm hoping with the Microsoft backing and a bigger budget, they don't have to rely on, hey, we need to find a way to flesh this out. You can actually have more of a story, more action. I want to say the length of the game is about the same as the first one. The price is about the same. I'm just hoping that the gameplay
A little smoothed
shifts.
out.
Exactly. You give me
That's
that,
fair.
and I'm happy with it. Totally. And I still think it's weird that it's digital only. But listen, we got one more thing we got to do before we get up out of here because I did notice the time. As you guys know, at the end of the show, we like to give suggestions for either a movie, anime, TV show, or video game that we're playing that we think you should be checking out. If you drop them in the chat, I will read those out. Bordy, I'm going to start with you. Is there a anime, movie, TV show, video game that you're watching or you're playing you think is super dope that other people may not be playing as much they need to be checking out?
Okay. First of all, again, Dames for Games happened today. If you have not watched it, go back and watch it again. There was like a really funny part where like Des was ripping people up too, which is like really hilarious.
Yeah.
In the middle after the voice, like that was hilarious. Puzzles for Clef was also revealed during the showcase. So go
Mhm.
ahead, that's out now. Go ahead, that was exclusive. So go ahead, check that out. Games. I have been playing Disco Elysium. As I said, it was a great,
Oh.
wonderful game. Super
You're in
good.
it.
Fame, Fame, you will not like it. It's just novel, the game, but it's really snarky and really funny. Like, it literally is just a novel. You're just reading. It's like, but it's great. The story is fantastic. Uh, Nana, if you like anime, the whole thing is a queer bait, the entire thing.
Oh.
But it's a great journey the entire way through. It's a great journey. There's up twists and turns and like, oh, she's going with who and what? So it's a great anime, slice of life. And that might be it for now, but who knows in the future? Oh, that's a lie. Carol Against the World. That's also a show, Carol and the End of the World. That is a Netflix show that talks about basically the end of the world and a boring girl's journey through it, and it's a very refreshing take on apocalyptic like shows. Instead of everything going to hell, everything's kind of like normal, which is interesting in its own way. So yeah, watch those things.
All right, we got a suggestion here from Fatal the Baptist in the chat. He says the anime is Shangri-La Frontier, a gamer that loves trash VR games, plays a god tier game, and unlocks amazing content never seen before. Shout out to you, Fatal Baptist, for dropping your suggestion for the week. Dallas, I'm gonna swing over to you. Your suggestion for this week for something to watch and or play.
Oh man. I
Oh, you came
have.
in hot. You came in
Oh
hot.
damn. Oops, my bad. Let me see that.
I came in like a wrecking ball. Come on, Miley. Give us your suggestions. What's
Okay,
good?
listen. If you want your brain broken, just enough for you to start questioning how you look at the universe, especially considering, there's an adaptation coming up pretty soon. Three body problem. You got enough time to get
Yeah.
through at least the first three, like the three main books. You got enough time to get through those. But listen, more science than fiction. Read them. I've been talking about this like since I started the first book. I've been talking about that series. Like it's hard. Pause. Also, I haven't recommended a show in a good minute. So, if y'all ever seen that show, Dave?
I've heard of it.
Is
With
that
Lil
with
Dicky.
the rapper?
Yeah, with
Yeah,
with
Lil Dicky.
Lil Dicky. Okay,
Lil
so take
Dicky. Yeah.
Dave and take Atlanta. If they had a baby, it'd be the Vince Staples show.
That makes
Netflix,
sense. That
y'all.
makes total sense.
Netflix.
That makes total
Absolutely watch the Vince Staples show.
Mhm.
And alongside that, play Final Fantasy since it just dropped, and Alan Wake because it's dope. Alan Wake 2 specifically, y'all.
Legendary Yobi says, play Tales of Arise, Marvel Midnight Suns, Mad Max, Batora, Curse of the
Mad
Dead
Max.
Gods, Wildcard Football, Disney Speedstorm, Conversion,
damn.
Shotgun Farmers, Never Yield, Eastern Exorcist, and Lost Odyssey. That is a lot of suggestions,
It's some good shit,
Yobi,
man.
but shout out to you. Fatal Baptist says, so everything. Just go play everything. Shout out to you, man. Drake says, go play Teacher? I'm country. You got to help me out, y'all. TCHIA.
Yeah.
That. At least PlayStation Plus and Halo Season 2 is fire. Keith, I'm gonna swing over to you, brother. What you got?
All right, anime Delicious in Dungeon on Netflix. If you have not watched that, check it out. It's basically a bunch of dungeon crawlers trying to get to the bottom of a dungeon to kill a red dragon that killed part of their party and one of the protagonist's sister. It sounds dark, but it's actually really good. Basically, everything that I've seen so far is basically them making food out of monsters. It's interesting, very interesting. A show, I would also live action show, Avatar. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. It's a lot better. It was pretty good. It was probably one of the better live adaptations of anime I've seen so far. Not better than what was the last one I just saw? Man, my brain is not working right now.
Yu Yu Hakusho?
One Piece.
No, One
One
Piece.
Piece?
Yes, thank you. One Piece was
One Piece is
amazing.
good.
Slightly below One Piece, but it was good. Really like that. Come on, Helldivers 2. Go play some Helldivers 2. I got to tell you,
All right.
I've been screaming for liberty and democracy around the house. My wife is like, "Are you okay?" I'm like,
Just
I'm
stop.
doing my
What
part.
websites are you going on to?
She's like,
she's questioning.
All right.
I will say, before I go over the hug, I finally had my sacrificial moment. We were playing the other night and we had no revives left and I was trapped. And so I just called down a mortar strike on myself and it kind of felt so good saying I'm choosing my way
That's
out.
awesome.
I finally had that moment and it was freaking awesome. I'm
Yes,
not dying.
fam.
Bonte, Wagwan, man. Appreciate you coming through. Hugs. What you got for this week?
Since it's leaving Game Pass, go play Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. Wrath of the White Witch remastered.
Back to back, rap to rap.
Oh, that was a hard word. We know I can't say things.
rapper
Me
to
and Fame
rapper.
have things. Rapper to rapper.
All your mind.
God believe it.
It's leaving Game Pass. It's the first in the Ni no Kuni Studio Ghibli. Like, go enjoy it. And since it is, I'm feeling a little down. It's that time of year. I watched Iron Claw with Zac Efron about the Von Erichs. Nobody told me I was gonna cry.
Yeah.
It's a movie, like, if you are a wrestling fan or if you're just a fan of people in general, I recommend watching and then going and learning more about the Von Erichs because they didn't get into, like, Harry's drug use and, like, more of the in-depth stuff, but it is devastating because the final line is, this man had 4 brothers. I just wanted to be a brother, and now I don't have any. Like, oh!
I feel like
I hate that.
every
Saving
Deal.
Private Ryan of
like-
wrestling, basically. It's pretty rough.
Yes. It's a
I feel
rough
like
watch,
every
but it
movie,
is so good.
about wrestling is just like the most heart-wrenching
It's devastating.
thing you've ever watched in the life.
They have one of the highest fatality rates of any sport in the world. You'll watch a
That's
Royal
crazy.
Rumble and every single person is dead, which is
Oh, yeah.
mind-numbing when you think about it. And that, like, as somebody who grew up on it, I'll watch one and be like, "Oh, what's he doing? Oh, he died 15 years
died.
ago." You're like,
Same, a
"Damn."
lot of our
Jesus, man.
Attitude
That's
era
depressing.
wrestlers are gone now.
I love the
Yeah,
attitude
Once
era.
we grew up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
They're gone.
Love the attitude
Heart
era, man.
attacks,
How many times I got in
drugs.
trouble at school? Because of Generation X was incredible.
Yup.
All day long. Just so many
it's worth a
suspensions
watch.
happen.
It's worth
Last
a
but not
watch.
least,
It's
our
hard.
amazing guest for the evening, ACG. Do you have any suggestions for people to be watching and or playing right now?
Yeah, I don't do too much anime, so I'm gonna replace it with a YouTuber writing on games. I've mentioned him a lot. He does smaller analysis videos and is embarrassingly good to the point to where it like makes me question like what I'm doing when I listen to any of his analysis videos and just discussion. They're really good, and he's one of the better YouTubers out there. So because I don't have an anime, kind of suggestion, I would say for shows, I rewatch shows hundreds of times. One of my favorite ones is Lie to Me with Tim Roth. It's about a psychologist who studies microtransactions in people's faces to figure out if they're lying. One of the best series I've ever seen. And games, Pacific Drive, without even a shadow of a doubt. Pacific Drive, I have 100 hours in, and I think I was done for the review at 35 hours. So if you look at when the review came out, and I have 100 hours, that gives you an impression of how many long nights I've had playing Pacific Drive. That game is primo. It is legitimately fantastic. It has a difficulty adjustment you can make, so you can make it more of an adventure game if you don't want that rough death kind of feel to it. That game is awesome. Kudos to them too.
That's dope. I got one suggestion, and I'm gonna end it on this. Fatal Backlist says Lot of Me is great. What is Lot of Me?
Yeah.
Somebody.
Like that was the show I was talking about the
Oh,
psychologist.
okay,
Fatal's
gotcha.
in my Discord, and he's probably really tired of me talking about my shows because I'm always talking about that one in particular.
Listen, go play Brotato. Brotato is freaking. That's my only suggestion for the week. No anime, no movie, no TV show. Go play Brotato. I don't know if because of my thumbs are broken. I can't get past level 20, but I will not give up. I won't give up. Listen, we're gonna get up out of here. We have hit our time. ACG, I appreciate you for coming through.
Yeah,
and
thanks for
taking
having me
time
on again.
Rocking out
Sorry.
with us, man. No,
Yeah,
dude.
it was a blast.
Life comes first. Life comes first. And you took an hour and 15 minutes to come out and rock with us, man. That's beyond appreciated. We're going to get up out of here because we got things to do and articles to write and all that good stuff. Keith from Outer Haven, thank you for coming through and rocking with us, man. You know you're always welcome. You are family. Make your way to the refrigerator, grab a drink anytime. Bodie McBullboy, who don't give herself enough credit for being an amazing shoutcaster for the work that she does. I wanted her to give herself more love and support. Shout yourself out because you are great at what you do, and I want the world to know that. And of course, my sister from another mister, the Floor Hugger, who's always keeping me in the right places and doing the things that I can't do because I'm old and my brain don't work. So I appreciate her and her young bones for keeping things up and running at lv1gaming.com. With all that said, congratulations. You guys leveled up to 282. This was the Double XP podcast. We will see you guys next week for something. We'll figure it out. Peace.
사랑해.